Let's talk a little bit about what the consumer wants right now. I've heard from some of your competitors this idea about the power of a brand, particularly these big legacy brands like an Oreo, like a Cadbury, that even under economic stress, customers are still willing to gravitate to those brands even at the prices that you're pushing. Are you still seeing that's the case?
Yes, we still see it. In the last earnings that we had last week, our price increase was 16% around the world, but our volume growth remained at 3%, which is what we've had for many years now. So the volume was not affected despite the price increases, and that testifies to the power of the brands.
And why haven't you seen more of a pushback? I hear 16%, and that's on top of whatever happened the year before and the year before that. Is there a breaking point where customers finally just say, I just can't afford this?
Well, yes, there is going to be a breaking point, but I do think that the pandemic, particularly as it relates to snacking, has shifted a little bit what's important for consumers. So we see them saving on travel or eating out or clothes, but food and particularly snacks and the brands they love, they keep on being prepared to spend on them. And one of the things we see that they say is, the pandemic, they've learned to take a moment for themselves, to indulge a little bit more, and that's very important in their lives today. They want it more than they used to have it before, so having an Oreo with the kids or having a moment for themselves, that has become really important.
I mean, one of the reasons, of course, behind those price increases are because of your own costs going up on the commodity side. Have you seen any moderation in your input costs?
No moderation, but no more increases. And so that's a good sign, I would call it. So last year we saw about 12% increase in our input cost. This year, another 12%. That is now priced into our products around the world, I would say.
Are you anticipating that those costs will remain at that level?
No, I would hope that they keep on coming down. The mix has changed. Some of the commodities have come down, others have gone up. For instance, sugar has come down, but cocoa for chocolate has gone up this year. But what we are seeing, last year in May, we could clearly already see that this year was going to be another boost in input cost. This year, May, we don't see that yet for next year, which is a good sign.
You have a big presence in the US, obviously an even bigger presence to a certain degree in Europe. Where is the growth story for Mondolez, geographically speaking?
Well, the biggest growth story is the emerging markets. We have about 40% of our business in emerging markets, growing 25% in the first quarter. It's the Chinas, the Indias, the Brazils, the Mexicos. Those are I think, what differentiate us from other companies in emerging markets. And then in the developed markets, the US is doing particularly well for us. And some European markets, not all of them, but some European markets are doing quite well.
When it comes to the developing world, if we do end up in a global recession, does that change the growth story for those markets?
And for our products, it's about price points. And as long as we hit the right price points, which we are trying to do, we see that the developing markets, the consumer will continue to buy our brands. One of the main reasons is that we have continued to increase our investments year after year after year. So they're more present than ever, and that is leading to this offtake. So at this stage, there is no signs of a recession in emerging markets, but if the moment comes, I think our brands have enough strength.
Have you made any changes to your business with regards to employment levels and other costs outside of commodities in anticipation of that economic softness?
No, we've gone through a major cost phase several years ago, about 5 years ago. We've kept the company lean. And so at this stage, we do not see a reason to reduce headcount. Our business is doing well. In our business, in the past, we've seen that we do well in recessions. So even if a recession comes, I don't think that snacking, and particularly our brands, will be terribly affected by it.
Your growth going forward, is it going to be primarily organic? Is there any interest in M&A?
No, we've bought 9 companies in the last 5 years. We're constantly trying to reinforce this around the world. Organic growth is the main growth that we're looking for, and we're pushing that very hard, but we want to keep on complementing it with acquisitions.